All right, I'm back in.
All
Hey,
right.
man.
There you go. All right. Look at that.
Looks good.
They look good there, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Soon we'll have more for you too.
You were
Alan,
talking
did you build
about
those?
the A range or what?
Talking about the A-Range, we're coming. The Valley Commander, which will be introduced as a Trident product, is coming. Relaunch of the Dynamite is coming. We got a lot of stuff coming down. 3 new Tone Lux pieces. It's going to be exciting. But we're here today to talk about the new ADB mic pre.
Right.
And this was really just something that we really wanted to do. We obviously have taken some liberties for those of you who've worked on ADBs before. We've added some things, obviously output transformers, variable high and low pass filters, DI insert on the front. These were some of the things that didn't appear on the console preamps, but we really took the same blueprint and did that, but we've taken some liberties with some features. And of course, you can't get the old transformers. We elected to use the Lundol for several reasons. A, they sound great, they're very reliable. And at the end of the day, in manufacturing, it's called economy of scale. We use them on our 88, 78, and 68 consoles. So it really, everything just made sense to do this. So, I mean, if we could, we're not going to say it sounds identical to the old ADB Mic 3, but it's got that Trident ADB character to it. So with that, we think we achieved what we wanted to do with it, and it's really a nice preamp. I've played through it. The DI is wonderful. I know Barry has had some opportunity to use it for a bit. I'm sure his opinions will come out at some point.
I
Uh,
hope so.
Has it got that little D10
I was
that
just
goes
telling
on
him that.
top?
I mean, I've turned it on and yeah, and it all lights up. Yeah, I haven't really gotten in there yet. I have a specific box to AB preamps. It's a mic splitter, transformer mic splitter, so you can run several mics or you can split between it. Anyway, it's a good way to do it. So how I do it.
right? It's not as if you don't have anything else to do, I would suppose. So
I so the Lundahl is a question. Lundahl, everyone's asking about the ZUT, ZUTT, which is the transformer in the old Trident boards. Everyone's asking about those transformers. They don't make them anymore. They don't exist unless you got them out of an old Trident board.
well, that's where they are on some old Tridents,
Yeah,
and the problem with is we actually do have a ZUT. We've had a couple of other ZUTs, and when you open them up, they're mush. Some of them just disintegrate because of the age and the lack of
yeah,
room. Turns to vinegar that just eats away everything, and you've got a transformer that's useless.
yeah.
Um, Not to switch gears here a little bit, but that was one of the big problems Joe Ciccarelli had on all of his C-37s, and trying to source the original transformers from Japan in the same company and getting the same materials was such an insanely time-consuming process that when we finally did it, it was Joe to say, well, let's build a mic. And that's really why the Tone Lux C37A came about. But shifting back, we have tried so many transformer companies to try and clone that. They've measured it, they this and that. And guys, it just doesn't work. There may be a couple of guys. I know Jonathan Little once told me, oh, I did it. I cloned it with this one company, and I contacted the company and they sent it to me. And my opinion was different than Jonathan's, but I don't disregard what Jonathan says. He's a brilliant guy. I like the guy. But for me, the Belclair, a clone of the Belclair is just not going to happen. And understand, in the early days of Trident and in the UK, whether it was Neve or anybody else, the only way they got their parts was a car or a van pulled up to the back door, knocked on the door or beeped. Guys came out, they opened up their trunk or slid their door out, and there was transistors, resistors, transformers, switches, pots, caps. Whatever they had was what they used. And it really, the whole ZUT history and cult following was luck of the draw. They had some of these transformers in in a parts car, and Trident used them. And then when they came back, oh, we want more of those. Sorry, they're gone.
Or they go out of business or
Yeah,
whatever.
it was a company called Belclair, and it was like literally Trident said it was like, I don't know, 7 months, 6, 7, 8 months. They bought what the guy had. They used it. They liked it. So they had some transformers. They tried to buy more, and the company went out of business. You couldn't get them anymore. They didn't make them anymore. They didn't have any stock, any inventory. And basically, I guess the guy who was delivering the parts or had the parts said he was pounding on Belclair's door. No one ever answered the door. And that was the end of the Zet era. They actually went to the Jensen JT13K then, which Ed Reichenbach actually designed for Dean. And when we actually redid the Trident A-Range, we got a Jensen JT13K, put it in, and Joe Ciccarelli was going, dude, this doesn't even sound anything like it. And we were pulling our hair. The circuit's right. It's the same transformer. We come to find out that Dean Jensen redid the JT13K because he was pissed at Ed Reichenbach for something. So he was trying to get rid of Ed's designs. And we got in touch with Ed's son. I think his name was Tom Reichenbach. And he had Cinemag at the time. And we were telling him this story. We were reiterating this. And he says, you know what? I have my father's original windings of that. So Tom actually wound us from his father's files, his father's JT13K design, and we put it in, and that was the magic ticket. That did it. We've been using that version from Cinemag ever since. But, you know, these transformers and certain parts from companies of old that you just can't get today. So we have to get past the Belclair Zutto. It's just never going to happen. So we elected to use we do use a lot of the original souders that we can still get on the A-Range. And of course, can't get the Zutto, but we are using Ed Reichenbach's design of the Jensen, which was then used on all the A-Range after number like 3 or 4. And that's what we use. So we're using the souders and we're using the Lundals.
Hey, Larry, Barry, can you put the front of the
Sure.
back in the front?
Sure, hang on.
Alan, it looks great.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It's nice. It works really well.
Are these available now?
Yes, they are in stock and available now. They're shipping. Adam Berg had if anybody knows Adam Berg, I don't know how many know Adam Berg or not, but Adam, he says this is his go-to mic pre. I don't necessarily say that that's going to be everybody's go-to mic pre, but Adam is just in love with this mic pre. For him, the sound of it is what it is, and that's what he likes. And so I visited Adam when we did this, because another thing that's coming is a remake of the Joe Meek SC2 in a 500 series and a 19-inch rack. And Adam was using the prototype of the Trident mic pre and the prototype of the Joe Meek 500 series SC2 compressor. And I went over to visit him, and he was playing me some vocal tracks that I do have to say were absolutely stunning. Will everybody else get the same results? I don't know, but they were stunning. I mean, just really, really nice. So, like,
talk about the filters you have. You have a low pass and a high pass. Talk about
your variable low pass and high pass filters, and remember the entire design at least is all about the transformer. So it's the main stage is OPA 2134 after the input transformer. The EQs use the original circuit design, which is the TLO72, and the TLO72 is used for the high pass and the low pass. A little bit different.
Well, tell us what frequency you said they're variable. So what is the range of the low pass and what is the range of the high pass?
Okay, so
I'm trying to read the front panel.
Yeah, no, let me get to it, and I'll.
The high pass looks like what from?
Looks like from 50.
So
or below, yeah.
Yeah, the low pass filter is 30 to 350 hertz.
Okay, and
And the
what kind
high
of
pass is 2 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz. They're
awesome.
all 12 dB per octave.
Okay, that's all we need. Yeah, they look nice, simple to use, and that's a line. The red pot, the first one at the bottom is a line level. If you were to take in a line at the bottom, right? Is that what that is? Yeah, line level.
Yeah, correct. And that
And you,
is 1 mega ohm on the DI on the front panel.
right. Oh, nice. So you punch
So
that button next to line, and it switches from the mic input to the line input. Simple. Yeah.
that's the one next to the line input is my, no, I'm
It's the switch between
yeah,
the
the
line, the
switch.
front panel, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rear. Yeah.
It switches via the front panel, 48-volt switches up at the top.
Hmm.
And
Looks like about 75 dB of mic gain, roughly, right? That's just plenty.
actually it's I think it's actually more than that, but I don't have all of what
Well,
they
I'm
have.
going to find out. I'm going to find out. I'll read the
That's
specs and all
what
that
I
stuff. But
technically what I'm supposedly getting is max output is plus 29 dBu. That's unloaded.
okay, well, looks good, Alan.
My
Can't wait
design,
now.
my designers would be the one, and Taz was hopefully going to be here, but something happened with his parents, and unfortunately, he had to
Okay, no worries.
take care of that.
I'm just happy you're able to show up and answer any questions. Of course, we're all wanting to learn about what the A range is going to be. Is that going to be a 500 module, or what are we doing there?
The A-Range is going to be a 500 module, and I would say that I would show you and share a picture of it, but I know what would happen.
It would change.
No, it's not that it would change. It's, do you know when you ever start looking for a specific file and
You can't find
it? And so I'm only going to take a quick minute to see if I can find a
Okay.
500. No, that's the PCB.
Okay, so maybe Tony wants to talk about he's been building a studio for himself.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You want an A-Range console, Tony, right?
Well, you know what? I mean, it's so funny because I had this. I've just been kind of toying with what to do with the room, what to put in the room. It's a small tracking room. It is really small.
I know. I'm in the bedroom, and I've got my Trident 88C right over here, and it's probably more than I needed. But what the hell? I own the company, so I think I should get.
Yeah, what the hell?
Well, it was one of those things, Alan, where I didn't think I was going to put in a console, and then this week both Barry and I had various sessions over 2 different days over at the Foo Fighters place.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe I should put in a console.
Yeah, you should. Whether it's not or not, you should put a console in.
Even considering that tired old thing at that studio, wow, that's like it's tired.
Because Foo Fighters, it's the 8068 that was over at Sound City.
Right.
And there's a lot of the.
Wait a minute,
Sure.
it's an 8024, I believe.
Okay.
Kind of a
But
discussion.
it's the 1073. It's the 1073.
Right.
3 bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was an insane project. I watched that and I thought it was phenomenal. So
Has that thing still never been recapped in its
Who
existence?
knows? That's the thing.
Stefan.
Who knows?
You
But
mean
I
the-
don't
That's the
know.
rumor. The rumor is that that's the sound because it's never, all the caps are like, ancient.
It's
I think Pat Schneider has worked on the console, so I can't say that for certain.
There's got to be spot work here and there to keep it
Yeah.
functioning. I
I
mean,
mean, just to
completely,
keep it
but-
functioning, they have to. But
guys, it's been years ago, but I watched that movie recently. It has the most killer sounds. It's whoever, if you know who mixed that, and you probably do, maybe it was one of you guys. It's just killer. It's
it's
drum
one of those
sound.
things where you forget what a console sounds like. You
Yeah.
know,
That's right.
and
then
there's a
go,
beauty to a
wow.
console. You know,
There you
Ooh, look
go.
at you.
There's a little A-Range. Oh, it's all nice and purple.
Yeah, so I don't, is everybody seeing this? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Oh, we
man.
got it.
The little
Okay.
it's
So
a little
this-
distorted, but yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I'm sorry. Well, it's
It's all right. Don't worry.
It's fine, Alan. It looks great.
this is just the drawing.
Okay.
The real thing looks much better, but I didn't photograph it because the real thing, the color is not right. We haven't, you know, the Pantones are still getting settled in, blah, blah, blah. But the chassis, the electronic, the boards, they're built. I mean, we should be shipping this, I'm hoping, end of July, maybe mid-August. But yeah, I mean, it is an A-Range mic pre that you would find right out of the channel. After number 4 or 5 serial number, using the JT13K by Cinemag and the Souders. I mean, it's just a real deal A-Range. We didn't, that is all Class A discrete. The 80B is not. But the A-Range is all Class A discrete. It is a real A-Range. It's a 500, and it's going to just fit right into your 500 racks.
What's the price on the A-Range?
Ew, don't ask me. I don't know. I can tell you
You're only the
price on
owner of your
80B.
company. What do you know? You
What do
only
I
own the
know?
company.
The 80B is $649. That's what I'd like. I would like to be see the A-Range under 1,000. How much under 1,000? I don't know. Should it be $899, $949, $999? We're still pricing some things and some components, and on some of the components that we buy, we still have to pay some tariffs and some other things. So we really haven't done the spreadsheets to see where we're at with it. But then again, it's an A-Range. I mean, I see some of these mic pre's by other well-known brands that are up in $1,200 or $1,400.
Alan, where are you building them?
We're going to build these in Gardena.
In LA County.
Yeah. We do source things from all over the place, including China. But like the consoles, we build them in Gardena.
And the 80 as well?
The 80B is all turnkey in China.
Okay.
Because the 80B, we know that, like the 80B EQ, our marketing projection says we should do fairly well with them. That means we don't personally have the employee power or the manufacturing power to build as many that we think we're going to sell globally to keep up with it. So
here's a stupid question, which might be proprietary, but do you expect to sell hundreds or thousands or
of the 80B?
Yeah, you know,
yeah, I expect
a product like that.
Between 800 and 1,000 a year.
Okay, good. Well,
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're pegging between 80 and 100 a month. That's what our forecast is.
Yeah.
The A-Range, I would probably peg maybe 20 a month if that would be the case. Maybe less because of its price point. Guys, from a
a lot of units.
Yeah, well, for the 80B, we're like exceeding our targets. I mean, you know, we buy them at 1,000 a clip, and we go through them fairly fast. They just seem popular. In fact, in the early days, the 80Bs we went away from the TLO 72 and we went to OPA 2154s, which during the COVID and supply chain issues, those OPAs went to like $7-8 a piece. And the cost to build an 80B was so expensive that we kind of switched gears and decided to use the TLO 72s, which were the original chips. And in listening and everything else, I mean, we just thought that if anything else, we thought the 80B EQ was maybe just a little bit more like the 80B because of the TLO 72s. So we've now switched that, and we may actually be able to get the 80B down in price in the coming months based on what the TLO 72s have fallen to. We'll see. So, but as a result, because they're inexpensive, we're selling a lot of them. The A-Range, because of the actual pot, the type of pot it is, the 3 transformers in there, I mean, it's going to be pricey. So I don't expect to sell near as many A-Ranges as I do some of the other stuff. So I wish I could say that that would be the case. And who knows, the market could turn. I don't know. You know, it's the market over the last couple of years has been pretty decent for us, not whatever. And I just, you know, I hope it keeps up. I'm still surprised that, you know, at the console sales that's going on. It's been really kind of crazy.
Someone else had said that on Facebook the other day, that console sales are slow, but they are coming back, and they're steadily
I mean,
gaining.
for us, especially through the educational facilities, we've just been killing it. Maybe because it's price based on our 68, 78, and 88. It's been good. I'm looking for something, if I can find a drawer.
Alan, what is that?
Well, these are some new Tonelux modules that we're coming out with. We're coming out with a Microlux, an Equilux, and finally, if I can find it, Equilux, Microlux, come on, where are you? Here it is. This is the one I want. And a Dynalux. And now everybody knows in 2006, we bought Tonelux. Paul worked with us for quite some time. I love Paul, he's a great guy. We wanted to do some other things with some of his projects. We decided to look at the designs, the circuits. Our engineers felt that they could do some cleaning up of some things and do some changes. And these are the three models that are done. In fact, in my lowboy over here, I have these three modules in my lowboy that I've been working with the last couple of months. We've had these out to a few other people, and we're extremely excited about this. These are just really killer.
So the Microlux is a stereo
channel. The Microlux is a 4-channel mic pre with tilt, a bunch of other features, DIs.
Okay.
The Dynalux is the based off the old Dynalux, only unfortunately Paul never got the Dynalux to work properly and build it to get it out to the industry. We've kind of cracked that code, especially with the type of features that the room linking, the wet and dry. It's a feed forward, feed backward type compressor, and of course the Equilux is, you know, based off the old Equilux. There's not like a lot of changes to it outside of there are some noise issues and other things that we were able to resolve with the original Equilux, but the Equilux was only available in a either a 500 rack or the Tonelux 1-inch wide rack. But we had some hum issues with those products. That's been resolved, so we decided to come out with it this way. We will also introduce the Equilux and Dynalux and Microlux in a new 500 format with the new Tonelux logo. So because of the because of the JC37 Tonelux, basically Sony C37 microphone, we wanted to pay more attention to Tonelux and kind of do some new things. So we've changed the logo. We think we've improved some of the products. We've introduced 3 new products. We're going to relaunch the 500 series. And then there's some other products that are coming around. So we're excited because we've got a ton of stuff coming this year. So I'm kind of like just, you know, wanting to give everybody just a little bit of heads up of some of the things that are coming. Yeah.
So the Dynalux is what? Because it looks like a compressor.
It is a compressor.
Okay.
It is a stereo compressor. Can use it for mastering if you choose.
What is changing the game? What is the element? Is it optical, VCA, FET? What's changing the game?
To be honest with you folks, look, I'm not a designer. Okay,
Okay, but I mean, does it got tubes in it? No.
well, there's no tube, so
Okay. Well, we got
I'm assuming there's probably some sort of maybe VCAs in it or
Okay.
not. This is why I
Alright.
wish Taz was here. And guys, we are a little bit longer from this. We are probably end of first quarter next year.
okay.
But
We have some time.
yeah, right. But the Dynalux, if I can squeak in here. So you can use a dual mono stereo. There's a very link, so you can link the two. And you can actually control the percentage of the link from basically 10% all the way up to 100%. We included the tilt on it. You've got your threshold attack, your makeup gain, and variable attacks, your high pass filter. You got side chain on the thing. You have insert, balance, send and return. You got your side chain, your external side chain as well. It's actually a really pretty serious bit of kit. And we're actually excited to see this get out into the market. And of course, Barry, you'll get a set as soon as we do.
And the Microlux is just 4 channels of mic pre.
The Microlux is 4 channels with gain, 48 volt polarial, direct in pad, a variable high pass filter, switchable tilt in and out, insert as well on the back on that. So the Microlux.
And does it sound like his
sounds-
mic pre's from the
it-
Tone
it's-
Lux?
It is Paul Wolf's mic pre. It is Paul Wolf's EQ. It is Paul Wolf's compressor. We've just cleaned up some of the stuff.
Sure.
I love Paul. Don't get me wrong.
It's all good, dude.
But Paul is
It's all
like,
good.
yeah, it's all good.
It's all
There was
good.
Just some things that we felt that we
Sure.
could clean up.
And you own it, so why not?
I own it.
mean,
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Maybe I'll call it Shepherd Lux.
I think that's good.
Is that a good idea?
I love that. I think
fantastic,
we're overdue for a
Alan.
talk, Alan.
Fantastic, Alan. You got a lot going on. You got a lot of gear coming. I assume you might be at the AES show, maybe in New York.
Well, you know what? I will personally be there. Our company is honestly in a conundrum. I'm trying to figure out how to unshare now.
What, your screen? Usually there's a button down there. Just click on the share screen again. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a shared screen. That's my problem.
It's down at the
There it
bottom.
is.
Maybe it's
There
off
it
here.
Is it share screen? No, I don't know what's happening, folks. I just can't seem to.
It's all good, Alan.
So don't worry
yeah.
about it. Don't worry about it. I'll unplug it somehow.
I think he can
Yeah,
figure it out.
that's fine. But yeah, we're not sure trade shows really work for us outside to visit with people and say hello and stuff like that.
I understand.
Yeah, so we're still of the opinion that we didn't do the last NAMM. We're not going to do AES. We'll see what happens as to what the exhibitor list is going to be for the next NAMM, which comes back to January. Maybe we will take a small booth, but I don't think that we're going to commit to doing any of these trade shows anymore because we seem to be doing well with where we're at. Oh, here it is. That's it. Stop sharing. I don't know if that stopped or not. So I don't know. But yes, there we go. I will be at AES, so I'll be sure to stop by and make sure I see everybody that I can.
I don't even know when it is. I know it's in New York.
It's October, that much I know.
Yeah, October in New York, and I'm
October
always
in New York. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better time to.
I'm always down for New York in October. Usually, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's my hometown. I feel like John Travolta when I get there. I strut. My
You're
drawl, my drawl comes back and I start arguing with people just for the hell of it. You know? It's always fun to go home.
Only
Well, look-
New York, dude.
So yeah, I know you have someone else coming up.
Well,
No.
Alan, I can thank you for coming. I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to be in
just
touch
wanted to
because
know if we were doing anything on that. If you're going to do it at the end for the giveaway.
Oh, you want to? Well, we can do that anytime you want.
we can
That's
do it giveaway
fantastic.
now.
You can do it now. Alan wants to do a little giveaway. What is it? It's a quiz. It's like,
Basically, it's I don't know how, because it's just answer a historic question for Trident, and if you get it right, we'll send one of you guys. I can't send everybody, but how many people are on now? By the way, I don't know, Barry.
looks like I think we have a total of what, 9 or 10?
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll send you a complete set of 3 Trident plugins for free.
Who
There you go.
answers the question? Yeah, not me, but
Yeah, not you.
so,
So the question 1 was, what was the first hit record that came out of Trident Studios in 1967?
Something by the Beatles or Pink Floyd.
Thank you for playing.
no, this is a tough one.
Okay.
You got to be an old geezer like me to even know.
1967.
Okay.
Cream.
No, well, no. Let's move
Julie
to the
Clark.
next, because I don't think anybody's going to get that. It was a Manford Mann hit, and
Yeah.
I
I mean, I know Manford Mann, but I never heard of this song.
yeah, but that was the song.
yeah.
But that and obviously it was a hit in the UK somewhere. So all right. Who was responsible for choosing aubergine as a color for the Trident A-Range?
Oh boy. Aubergine is that purpley kind of color that you saw on the module. Yeah.
No, Lou, it wasn't you.
Lou, your mic's not on, and I guess it doesn't matter.
I think it's
How about if we give a hint?
Let's-
RTB.
Let's say that again.
RTB.
RTB.
Roy Thomas Baker.
We
Yeah.
have a winner.
Was that you, Mark?
Is that who's
Mark.
that
Yeah,
Mark? Who
yeah.
said that?
Oh,
Mark is
Stella.
a winner.
Yes, I used to eat at the same sushi bar with RTB, so those initials
Yep.
ring a bell. That's what everybody called them
That's
back.
pretty cool.
I
And it's
didn't-
called aubergine. Is that the
Yeah.
color of it?
I think I'm pronouncing it correct. Aubergine. It's like a plum color, you know.
Yeah.
And it was
Mark
like
is the winner.
it was just really. I tried to pick. I thought the aubergine, the Roy Thomas Baker thing, was a fairly well-known thing. I thought that would be easy. I figured I'd put a hard one in there, but just in case.
Dude, they're all hard.
Here's what we
And any Beatles questions? Come on.
no Beatles questions.
Beatles. Who are they?
Everyone knows everything about the Beatles by
It
now.
would have been too easy. So, Mark, what you need to do is, I guess, send Barry, because I know you don't have my email, but send Barry your iLock, and then
iLock ID.
yeah, and then we'll deposit the
The assets in
stuff
there.
in there, and then you go to the Trident download page and just download all 3. It's the 80B EQ, it's the CB 9066 parametric EQ, and then it's also a new piece called the Tiltration, which has the tilt in it. It's got high and low pass variable filters, and it's got a kilometer with LUFS settings and all that other stuff. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you very much. And I got a session, tracking session next week. So I'll put them to work right away.
At your leisure. Just get Barry your iLock ID. I'll send it to my guy. He'll get you the license stuff and download.
All right, I'll do that later today.
All right.
Look at
Sounds,
you, Mark.
sounds good.
A winner.
Oh, winner. We actually have
Very
a
nice.
winner.
Very nice.
I'm
That's
happy.
great. That's kind of, I think that's a first on Tech Breakfast, the Zoom, I believe. I don't know, Tony's
Yeah,
the-
that's the first time.
Trivia
First time,
quiz
okay.
giveaway.
I thought
No,
so.
no, it's a good thing. I think Tony has them and I think Barry has them. I think I hooked you guys
I
up.
don't know what I got.
Oh,
Barry
yeah.
doesn't. Barry has so much stuff every week he can't remember
I know
what
he
he's
can't
got.
even go through it. I know. Right now, the only thing my mic pre's are doing for him is looking good in his rack.
Well, it was one of the things he said that he was excited about doing through the Trident. So
He'll
I'm
go.
waiting to
I
hear.
know Barry's fine. He'll
That's
go.
actually on the menu today. Actually, it just so happens. Yeah, I'm
Because it's
gonna
one
hook
of
up.
those things that you can't really. You got to put it through its paces, Alan.
Hey,
I'm
know,
excited to find out what he finds out about it because I'm in the
you
market
really-
now to buy a
well,
bunch
you
of
really have some
gear.
time. Well, we can send a set for you to check out too, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony, if you have a session coming up, that needs mic pre's, let me know. I have a spare 500 rack, a Trident rack, actually.
Well, Barry came over. What day was that, Barry? Is that Monday? Sunday.
Monday. Oh no, I was at the
Yeah.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters on Monday.
Yeah.
But
It's a new
Sunday,
drummer.
Barry came by and saw the place, and it's going to be nice. It just,
Well,
building delays.
send me an email, Tony, and we'll come up and let's check it out.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll like it. It's Barry came by and Barry's like, this is gonna be nice when we're done. Like it's just gonna take a little time. Are you in town? Are you in Hawaii?
No, I am in town. There's too many things going on right now that I needed to be in town for, so I'm not in Hawaii. I'll go back soon enough, but also I had some sessions and stuff that I needed to do. So in my room where I'm at right now, I stuffed the console in it. And this is really a small bedroom. I mean everything that I have is all just crammed in. I barely have room for two people to be able to sit in the room when I work. But it is small, but it's nice. I've got some treatment and stuff, and I love it. It's working out great for me.
Awesome.
I love that.
Happy camper. So
Here we go.
all good.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for coming.
Guys, I appreciate it coming here. Congratulations, Mark. I'll send you my email or give Barry your email as well. I'll send you mine. Let me know what you think.
Will do, sir. And thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. I appreciate you listening.
See you later.
Thanks, Alan. Talk to you, ma'am.
Take care. Bye.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
First time giveaway. So that's
Yeah,
very
first
cool.
time giveaway.
Has anybody got anything going on that we should be talking about? Mr. Marsh, you got anything going on?
I moved my lathe yesterday,
Oh my God.
all bajillion pounds of it.
Jesus,
That's
dude.
got to be like,
How many people did that take?
I will say this. I after doing it, it was successful, and I did have some moments where I begin to realize that I need to start learning ways to manage my stress. When you have a piece of equipment that's like the weight costs as much as like a house, and you've got to move it over these lovely, wonderful LA roads. It's not fun. Like every little bump you feel, you're like, oh, did something break loose? Or you got a couple
Where were
thousand
you
pounds.
moving it to and from?
Oh, I thought you were saying you were moving it within your building.
No,
Oh.
no, moving it down. We took it out of my building. It was into my, it was too heavy to get up into my studio here, and we're in the hills. You've been here, I think, Joni.
Yeah, but you had it downstairs.
Yeah, had it downstairs. 2 steps was all we could get it up. So 2 steps it went down, and then we put it on a truck and we took it down to Burbank. And we took a room in, remember Eddie Schreier, Oasis Mastering? His old facility is still there. Gene Grimaldi is in one of the rooms, still running, basically operating as Oasis Mastering. And then Gavin Lurson and Ruben are in another room as Lurson Mastering. And there was a studio in the back, and strangely enough, I was in Burbank looking at another room, and it totally was in a post house that totally wasn't going to work out. And on the way back, I was like, I remember Gene coming to a tech breakfast 3 or 4 years ago and grabbing me and saying, hey, we're right down the street. You got to see the place. Come down. And as we walked past one of the studios that was like being used for storage or something at the time, he jokingly said, "Hey, could you cut records in here?" So it popped back into my head, and I just called him up out of the blue, and I was like, "Hey, man, is that room still empty or full of junk? Like, would you empty it out and can I rent it from you?" And he said, "Sure, come take a look." So we made a deal, and I moved the lathe over there. We just finished doing the physical move yesterday. We still have to fit out the room, but all the wiring, everything's working. And I'm doing an update. I'm doing a bearing upgrade to my turntable right now. So the turntable is actually at the machinist, but yeah, I think it's going to work out great. The reality is the lathe doesn't need a big fancy studio or control room situation. Just needs good isolation, a quiet room. But to get co-located in a space with other people, I'm looking forward to having. The reality is it's kind of become its own business, and Justin is going to more or less run that room, and that room is really for him. But I'll be there sometimes, and I haven't worked in a facility environment since 2006. So I'm looking forward to having a little bit of at least, water cooler talk or whatever, if that still happens. I presume it happens.
And I think that's so
Go out
important.
for
I'm
lunch.
glad you did it, because there comes a time where it's just like we are so isolated in our own worlds, where it's just like nobody talks to anybody, nobody sees anybody, and the only time we get together is over Zoom, and it's sad. There was a time when you're in A, and you're in B, and you're in C, and it's like we'd meet in the hallway and like, dude, what are you working on? Oh man, I'm tracking drums with so and so. It's like, oh wow, stop by on your way in. It just. I think that kind of camaraderie is deeply missed in this industry.
Yeah. And Gene, I think I met Gavin for the first time in 1998. I met Gene in 1995 or 96. I've known both these guys close to 30 years. So it wasn't it just seemed like a natural fit. So it was, looking forward to having it done. It'll be done in a couple of days, then that'll be cranking. Maybe we can do a tech, if there's an in-person tech breakfast, we can do I'm right down Burbank Boulevard.
Yeah. So where are you from?
I'm 4109 Burbank. So it's kind of just into Burbank.
So what's the other cross street?
So near Hollywood Way, kind of.
Kind of. It's it's between Cahuenga and I guess Hollywood Way. Yeah. I'm still learning. I'm still learning my way around the area. So
Clybourne is the Burbank border. So
yeah, it's over Clybourne. It's the cross street's Evergreen. So it's right where Champs, the Champs Sports
Bar. Yeah, sure.
It's right in the same block with Champs. That well-known,
and near the
well-established Los Angeles landmark, Champs.
Smart and Final.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So when are you going to have it up and totally running?
Next week. We'll be going. We need to get it up and running by next week. So, and then because there's so many other things lined up.
So you didn't have to do anything to the room. You just moved the gear in and got,
I gotta hang speaker mounts. I gotta hang decor. None of the decor stuff has been done yet, but yeah, functionally we wired everything up. It worked out well that the room is co-located next to a shop, which is not actually, there's no standing tech there because these days you just don't need that anymore. So there's a cabinet there's a large lower cabinet that shares a common wall, and had some plumbing going through it, not wiring plumbing, chases and ducts and things. So I was able to route through there and plant my ISO transformer, my power regulator for the lathe, and my vacuum box, which has the vacuum motor for chip suction and for platter vac, all in this little cabinet with some Dynamat. It's literally silent and completely out of the room. So the cutting operation is going to be so completely quiet now, because we're also doing with this bearing upgrade, we're doing a direct drive upgrade to the lathe too. So it will come off the old belt drive motors.
Do you have to do anything special to shock mount the turntable, the lathe itself, from the foundation or whatnot?
It's isolated. The table is actually it's like a battleship table. So it's got the bathtub's fully welded to the legs. It's all one solid unit, and it's full of gravel, dating to who knows when.
So it ain't going nowhere.
It's super duper heavy. It's one of the challenges of moving it is it's got so much mass. It's just one giant piece of equipment. Like you have to rent a giant truck with a lift gate, and then you put one piece of equipment in the truck. But so there's nothing else to pay. You have to strap it down. And if you strap it down the wrong way, you break it because
Sure.
the table already rides on a neoprene suspension. There's a multi-lever neoprene suspension that it rides on, which more or less, it used to isolate it completely from the old, basically farm motor that used to drive it, the old synchronous, drive motor. So this will have a direct drive quartz locked, directly coupled.
So what was the total poundage of that system?
Nobody knows. I mean, there's no scale that it can go on really that's practical. So when I bought it, I was told it was 1350. But I've stripped about 250 pounds of iron out of it, taking pulleys and turntables and flywheels and all this kind of stuff off. So I'm assuming it's about 1,000 pounds.
That's a half a ton, no matter what you call it.
Yeah. So to move it, we prop it up on these little T-bars with 2 farm wheels on them, pneumatic farm wheels. And by spreading the weight out across across 8 of these wheels, it moves pretty easy. I mean, it's shockingly easy to maneuver. You have to kick the tires into the direction you want to go and get 3 or 4 guys. But then once it's going, it sort of just coasts along.
Yeah, the problem is trying to stop it once it goes down that path.
You never want it to go very fast because if you have to stop it, it's
because dude, that's like stopping a runaway train. It doesn't happen that easy.
When we took it down the ramps out of the 2 feet out of the storeroom into the garage yesterday, I put a 4 drawer high loaded file cabinet with a bunch of cardboard boxes in front of it. And I told the guys, I'm like, listen, if hell breaks loose, let it go. And that's our target right there. So, and it didn't need it. It went down gracefully. So the tires have a lot of grip, so it doesn't want to let it roll down a ramp, thankfully. So it worked out well. I never want to move a lathe into the hills again, though. I mean, trying to unload and load something that needs everything to be flat in the hills is just a pain in the neck. So,
and especially at your place, dude, because it's multi-level. It's just like you need a crane to get that shit up.
I mean, I had a fantasy that I was going to bring that up into the studio originally. I even got rid of the couch. I'm like, no, this is where it's going to go. And I spec'd out where the vac was going to go and everything. I had the conduits run.
And Stefan's place, there's like the street level, and then there's the garage, and then you have to go all the way up these stairs.
37 steps to get to my front door.
You would need a crane to get it up there, dude.
Yeah,
and like one of those hyper cranes that can stand up. It'd be a mess.
Never gonna last house in the hills, man. Last studio in the hills, last house in the hills. I am done.
Wow.
It's nice. I'm living the dream. I'm not ungrateful for it, but it's not without my knees are shot, my hips are shot.
That's a lot of steps, dude.
Yeah. And to have them between my 2 studios it's actually, I'm rather have it in Burbank. Justin can do it there. It's his room. He can operate. He doesn't need me anymore. I can be there to support him, but he's a good cutting engineer. He knows what he's doing, and he's cutting great sounding records, and the work's coming in. So we're happy. I'm happy with where it's at, and it made a lot of sense to get it out of my house. And my wife wants the storeroom back, frankly. And I want my garage, all the storeroom stuff went up in the garage. So I've been parking on the street for like 6 years since I got the lathe. So anyway, that's the update on my life.
Well, dude, let us know when we can come over. I mean,
yeah, totally.
I'm gonna have a thing whenever I can. Barry knows the troubles I've been having trying to get stuff moved in, all that kind of stuff.
Party.
Where's your new room, Tony?
Well, it's
that time of year.
Yeah.
You need a drunken summer party.
It's behind the Good Earth and Lemonade on Ventura Court, right behind Ventura Boulevard.
Okay.
Tony's in a very she area.
It's not that.
While you're there, you can get your hair styled.
Oh, yeah. Because I got so much of it, But no, it's 2 separate rooms. Each room is about 330 square feet. And the ISO originally had an ISO in the room itself. And I came in and they had put a small ISO within the 330 square feet. So I just gutted the whole room.
Yeah.
And
with a room that size, if you're going to cut a vocal or something, you just cut it in the room. I mean, don't gobos and you're done.
Right? And that's it. And so that's my next step is I got to get some great gobos and we ordered a bunch of wood. Wood came in on Friday and the guy started on Monday and you know, the call you never want to get. The builder came, he says like, you got to come down here right now. There's something wrong with the wood. And I go down there and he goes, look at the wood. And I pick it up and it's doing one of these kind of things. I'm like, Jesus. He goes, somehow it's got warped. And so out of the 10 boxes, 3 were warped. And so I was just like, well, we're not putting the wood in this week.
No parallel walls, right?
Well, you know,
No straight walls?
let me tell you something. Everything that could go wrong with this place. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the place, but we had this thing where the floor is completely uneven. So the guy was just like, well, while we're here in Home Depot, let's just get some quick set. It's a leveling concrete.
Yeah.
And thin set, and then we'll just redo that. So he did that to both rooms. And at least my floor is like solid now, you know, but I got to go back and redo everything. So I don't know. It'll probably be, Barry came by the other day. He's like, it's going to be nice when you're done, but that's when you're done. So
You're doing it though, man. That's awesome.
I'm excited to be there. Sean
Yeah.
knows the room. Sean's been down there. So we'll see. It's going to take
Yeah,
a
I
little
know the backstory of that room. So it's like when you say everything of warped wood, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Makes complete sense.
I signed a lease for the room a long time ago and just been waiting to get in the room. But it was during COVID times. I couldn't get in the room, blah, blah. So, you know, May 2 was the first day available to get in there. And I signed a lease on it like 20 months ago. So, but I couldn't get in till just now because the guy that was in there was in there. So
Tony's got the world's greatest landlord. Guy is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
he's in there doing the deconstruction, right? Some of the demo,
yeah,
right?
he demoed the whole room. He's just like, what don't you want to hear? I said, I don't want that in there, and I don't want this in there, and I don't want this in there. And you rip all this crap out. He goes, done.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
like literally, like within 3 days, he was just like, he had everything out.
he probably painted for you too when you get it all mudded.
Yeah, he said that. He was just like, I'll paint it too. I want whatever is going to make you happy in here. You know, let me know.
What a deal. Jeez.
Okay.
He's probably tired of all those medical and she hair salons around there, right? He's like bored with those people and wants some freaking action in there, some music.
Well, as Sean knows, Sean was in the room next door to me for what, 3 years, Sean? Something like that?
Yeah. And I was also in your old room as well, too.
Right. So when the dermatology center came in and bought the place, and they were like, A, B, and C have to go. And Tom Harriman was in A, I was in B, and Sean was in C. So it's like, you 3 got to go, and everybody else can stay. So I have been out of the place since October of 2018.
I was going to ask if this was the same place you were in before, because it's like that location. I was just doing the math on that.
So it's the same place, and I've been out of it since 2018. And I just set I didn't know how long it was going to be. I set my gear in the room across the hall in Raul Ferrando's room. So my gear's just been sitting there for 5 years.
Wasn't there a roof? Was it like a leak or something? Wasn't there some?
There was for a minute there. Yeah. They came in and fixed all the stuff. And, you know, I think when I'm done, it's going to be nice. You know, it's just going to take some time. You know,
To quote Barry Rudolph, you got to give Barry credit for that one.
Well, you know, when it's done, it's one of those things.
That should really be on a plaque somewhere, by the way. That's hilarious.
Well,
Barry came by, 2 weeks ago, right, Barry?
Yeah, I
He
mean,
came
something
by
like that.
on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
So it's making
If,
progress.
you know, music mixing is a little slow, you can set up the barber chair and get to work, man. Cutting hair, dude. No, I'm kidding.
It's going to be nice. I just, you know, I have a builder who's doing one portion of it, because the other builder who I really wanted to do it, he's like, dude, I'm doing 4 rooms right now.
Wow.
I'm building 4 rooms, and I can't take on the 5th room because I'm already up in Oregon with somebody who we're building 1 room for them in LA, and they want a duplicate place up in Oregon.
Wow.
And I'm
Must be nice.
okay, all right, cool. I'll just wait for you because I don't
Must
need
be
you to do everything,
nice.
but I need
Jeez.
you to do some of it. So
It's like
yeah,
that studio I was in last week in Connecticut is a copy of Power Station New York City. They call it Power Station New England, and it's supposedly, board per board measured exactly. I've been in the New York one, but only for a party for an AES show. Went to a party there, and it looks like it. It's kind of this octagonal kind of shape, and I was thinking, wow, I guess there's somebody making a lot of money.
well, I think it's weird. I mean, I don't know too many people who are got rooms outside their houses anymore, but
Yeah,
I'm tired of.
I'm with you.
You know,
I'm with you.
it'd be great.
All this stuff here. I mean,
Yeah, when the opportunity to do the lathe was like, it was, I was like, I don't need, it dawned on me. I was like, I did the math on the per square foot for typical studio space. I was like, for the amount of square footage I need, like, it's going to cost nothing. Why don't but trying to find the right spot with isolation and all that, especially Justin lives in Burbank and I wanted it to be close to him. And it's like, you got to be pretty well isolated because of the airport, planes literally flying overhead, but the building they're in was formerly built out as Technicolor. And it was one of 3 buildings in a row. And now just the center section has been excised years and years and years ago by Eddie. But it's got crazy poured concrete ramps. It looks kind of like similar to Capitol inside with poured concrete ramps and carpet halfway up the walls, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm like due south of where your new place is.
Yeah, I think you're really close, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, south of Magnolia.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think you used to live on my street when I first moved in, next to Rick Parada.
Not me.
Oh, okay.
Different guy, same name.
Oh, really?
Sax player, yeah.
Oh, no kidding. All right. But anyways, I'm right in the flight path. You know, when they
right
take
under
off,
where
when
the
they're
planes-
landing, it's better.
Where they hook as they take off. We're right underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little like I literally went there one day and just closed the door and sat in the room with it quiet for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and just waited for a couple planes to go over to see if it, okay, well, 2 planes went over. I didn't feel anything. I think we're good.
Yeah, and fortunately, they're you can kind of figure out when the noisiest part of the day is.
Yeah. Dave Chepa
Commuter time,
used to run Better Quality Sound. I'm not even sure if he's still cutting now, but Dave was like the inside guy for Rainbow for decades. And just, if you sent something to Rainbow and needed it cut and needed lacquers done, he was the guy that it got handed to mostly. He used to run multiple lathes at a time. He used to cut records in the building too. So I know it can be done there, which was honestly comforting to know when I saw the planes flying overhead. I was like, holy shit, what did I get myself into?
Dude.
But
yeah,
we do a tech breakfast in person. It's like I said, it's maybe a mile down the street or something. It's not like walking distance, but I'd be happy to have some folks over afterwards.
We should absolutely do it. And even if we don't do one in person, we just, maybe do a little thing where you're.
Oh, I've got IP cameras there, so we could zoom in too.
Awesome.
We're going to do something because I'm going to do something in my room once I get it up and running. It may be August by the time I'm completely done with the place, but we're going to do some kind of thing and have everybody over. So
drywalling you're going to be drywalling in the muggy July. Yeah, I did it. It's
not that bad.
It takes days though for it to dry out so you can do the next layer.
It wouldn't be so bad, but it's just, it didn't have any of that before.
Yeah.
And, so it's, we're kind of starting from the ground up. Sean knows the rooms were just,
Yeah,
I didn't realize you're actually building out the room. Most of the people that moved into that building, they just kind of like, okay, this is what it is. You know?
Yeah, I went and the walls, the ceiling, there was no sheetrock past the ceiling. So I went up and was like, I need 3 layers on this wall up above the ceiling, and I need it rocked, and I need tape and on each layer. Yeah. And he was like, okay.
Offset ceilings, green glue,
And green glue, yeah.
For comparison, is this going to be better than like Stephen Bray's room, the one that I was in?
It will probably be similar because Stephen I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Steven didn't have mass loaded vinyl. We thought about doing that, but we're not.
What are you doing for mains? You doing built-ins or freestanding?
I'm gonna do Westlake's BBS and tins.
Sweet. Same as it ever was.
This week we were down at Foo Fighters' place and they had the Alan size model.
Those sound nice.
They were nice, dude. Like,
I mean, when I first saw them, I go, "Oh my god!" And I said, "Do you have any Genelecs or something?" They're huge, and they said, "Yeah, we had all these speakers." And I used them for a little while, Tony, the first day, a little while. And they were like, "What?" And then they put them on those big ones, and those things sounded good.
Yeah,
Alan did a great job. I mean, they don't look very good, but they sound good. I mean, big horn on top and a whole.
They're three-way.
Three-way.
Are those sitting on the floor on a stand? Is that how
They're
they
sitting.
work?
They're sitting on a subwoofer. What's that sub got in it? 215s or something?
Two 18s
218. I mean,
on
talk
each side.
about- yeah, on each side. So talk about low end. My God, and when you get in a corner in that room or near any boundary, it's like you're gonna have trouble with your insides. I mean,
I never noticed. Are those self-powered or do you have
No.
external amps?
there's a stack of amps in the machine room. The way they do it is they have a machine room. It's got three Studer 24s, three, and four of them.
There's three in the main ISO, and they have a fourth machine in that back room behind them.
Okay, I didn't see that.
So yeah, and he
And,
told me where they got the machines from, and I was just like, and he said, where'd you get? You know, he started going through each one. He goes, this one was bought by Richard Marks. It's only got 300 hours on the heads.
Jeez.
He goes, he bought it, and it was in that time where it transitioned out of tape and into Pro Tools. It literally only has 300 hours on the head, so it's a brand new machine. I said, because 300 hours, you go through that in 2 weeks, you know,
Easily.
Depending
two
on the
weeks.
heads too. I mean, if it's the Vitrovac heads, if it's the later heads, the nicer heads, those things last forever.
Yeah. So he said that's the middle machine, right? And then there's Hal, and there's another one. They've got them all named. It's just like, and the
It's like
room
Westlake.
it's a great sounding room, dude.
Yeah, it is. And they have an API board in the back, little 1608 that I guess Dave likes to record with API on drums, which I don't blame him. And so they've got that back there. I guess they just use for drums.
Yep, just for drums. It's got the 1608 on. Well, it's
It's a
24 channels on one side, and then they've got the extender on the other side, right? Or is it 16 and 16?
I think I don't know. It's a lot of inputs, at least 32.
Yeah.
So
The room is sweet.
and fully all EQs too, not just blank
Yes.
panels up there. So it's nice. I wouldn't have, had I known, I probably would have wanted to use that rather than that old tanky Neve. I don't know.
I love the Neve. I mean, it just, I don't ever use EQ when I track. So
Well,
I rarely use EQ.
I was recording acoustic guitar, and I don't need to
Yeah.
tell you, it's usually you got to do something.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar. And
But it's a great room, and that it kind of started me thinking, it's like, well, maybe I should be talking to, Dan and those guys over there at API and getting like a used 1608 or a 1608. That's a great console, dude. And
pretty
he
good.
said
They have on
love
an
it.
MI. I mean, if it passes the student test, I think it's starting to really kind of, it's lasting longer than that Rupert Neve. They bought them at the same time, nearly the same time. A Rupert Neve, the new one, and the API, and the Rupert Neve they're getting rid of already. It's the one where they use wall warts. All the modules are individually powered by wall warts. I remember when the guy was installing it, I'm looking behind there because I'm kind of curious, and there's all these wall warts. I mean, like 20 of them or 30 of them, wall warts, the little, those little power supplies, and they're all on plug strips, they're plugged anywhere you have an AC. I said, what the hell is all that? And he goes,
They
all
make-
the modules, all the
They make
modules.
jumpers for those, by the way.
I know. I said, you can make a daisy chain and go to one power supply.
Or fully isolated, multi-output blocks for pedal boards and stuff like that.
Whatever, but
Technology exists.
and I mean the same guy wired the room up, and the patch bay was like horrible. Who goes to the end of the row of patch cords, and when you run out, he he put it like somewhere else, way far away. Like what? It's like anyway.
But that wasn't the only problem with that console. The other problem was there were fans.
Yeah.
In the back of that Rupert Neve console. So it wasn't quiet by any stretch of the imagination, because when you start working on it, you start hearing this buzzing. You're like,
what's that? Yeah.
How's that? It's like, oh, there's fans in the back of the console. I'm like, what? It's
I
like,
mean,
you gotta be kidding me.
Console that has to go in the machine room.
Right. The console goes.
That's
Yeah.
a new concept, man.
Well, the
That's
air
what I've been
conditioner
talking to
noise will
Barry
cover
about.
that.
It's like, do I do a console, or just get a bunch of 500 series mic pre's and just slide them in and just that's it,
If
'Cause
you're
I
not
think
using
it was
EQ,
worth
why
running.
not? If you're not, I mean, Adam makes that 10 slot API rack, and it's got XLRs in addition to the DB25. So say 10 slots. Wait a minute, how do you get 10 on a DB25, which is 8? And he says, well, he doubled everything with XLRs on the back. Follow me? So you can use in a patch bay, you could use XLRs, or you could do the DB25, or use both. And I have 2 of those racks, by the way. So I have one sitting here, it's empty, and the other one is full. But if you want to borrow it or something,
I got to get my room finished first, and
Yeah.
then as soon as I get my room, there's 2 things I'd like to get done in the next week. One is to get my window cut, because that's a must. And then after the window gets cut, I got to get the flooring in, because at least if the flooring is in, I can start bringing my gear up and setting it in place. And I can start doing everything else around it. Once the floor is in place, in the one room, it's going to be, I think we're doing 8 by 10 feet in the control room. And then in the ISO, we're doing 8 by 14 feet of floor.
it's going to be nice.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's going to be
But
nice.
yeah. All right, y'all.
We're done.
Thank you. It's good seeing everybody. Stay safe.
All right, thanks, Barry. I'm not sure if I have your email address, but I'll send it to you on
It's
private
easy.
message on
Barry
Facebook.
at barryrudolph.com.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it's that. Just
good.
that.
Doesn't get any easier than that.
But I'm at marketstebbins.net, so we've solved that one.
Just send it to him. He'll make sure you get it.
You got it.
All right.
See everybody.
You guys
See you guys.
Barry.
All right.
Nice to
Bye.
see you.
Thanks, Tony. Bye.
Here, cutting it off. End.